Hey yogis, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra and today I'm doing a Yin Yoga practice for stress relief. So I was not actually planning on filming anything, mainly because I am super stressed out and I've been extremely stressed out and busy for the last couple of weeks. And I don't know about you, but whenever stress levels rise for me and whenever I'm in periods where I'm super busy and so much seems to be happening, I tend to neglect all of my self-care practices. So my yoga practices tend to fall to the side, even though I know deep down and logically, I know that yoga is the most beneficial when you're in periods of high stress. So today I was kind of frantic and running all over the place, and I stopped myself and said, no, I need to practice Yin Yoga. And then I thought, you know what, might as well just turn on my camera, film the sequence, and maybe you can find it useful for you as well. So whenever I'm in periods of high stress, I tend to do the same kind of sequence, the same Yin Yoga sequence. We're gonna start with a forward fold, and I'll give you an option. So forward folds, if you're a yoga teacher, you know that they are really wonderful for relaxing at the end of a long day or also alleviating any kind of stress and anxiety. So we're gonna start with a seated forward fold, and then all of the other poses that we're gonna do in this class are going to be reclined, so laying down on your back. If you wanted to, you can even do this in bed if you're doing it at the end of the day. I'm gonna have 2 blocks somewhere here close by, so do have some props. You might only need them for 1 or 2 of the poses. I don't even think I will be needing them, but it's always good to have them somewhere close by. So let's begin in a forward fold. Now I'll give you an option. The forward fold I would like to do, and my favorite one, is a straddle fold. So opening the legs out wide and folding from the hips and tilting from the pelvis this way. If you'd like, you can do instead caterpillar pose, which is just a straight-legged forward fold and going over the legs and the thighs this way. So whichever one you think your body and mind would benefit from the most. I know that I have a little bit of tightness through the inner groin, especially from the knee injury that I'm still recovering from. So this wider fold works best for me. And I like to have the block somewhere close by. This is completely optional, but as you hinge forward and start to lower down, you can either let gravity do the work for you and just let yourself dangle in this pose, or you can support your neck and support your head and maybe even your chest by propping yourself up with a block. So I know that the longer I stay in this pose, the more flexibility I'll get and the closer my head will get to the floor. So having the block means that I'll be able to shift that around if I need to. So choose the variation of the fold that works best for you today. And once you've made your way into the shape, see if you can relax your legs, relax your arms, soften your jaw. Draw the shoulders down and away from your ears. And close your eyes. So normally for breath work in Yin Yoga, I generally prefer for students to breathe in any way that is natural to them. But when it comes to relieving stress, I like to emphasize the exhale. So you might want to think of inhaling for a count of 4, but exhaling for a count of 6. So making the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. And every time you exhale, just imagine all of the tension melting away from you. Forgetting about the to-do list, any tensions, arguments, whatever, any pressures or mental clutter. With every exhale, let it go and allow yourself softness and presence. And be very gentle with yourself coming out of this pose. Bring some strength back into your arms and walk the palms in slowly. And lifting back up. And whether you were in a straddle fold or a straight leg forward fold, you might want to use your hands to help the knees bend. And we're just going to lower all the way down onto our back. So after forward folds, I generally like to do a lying spinal twist. It's a great way to avoid any kind of tension in the low back that can be a result of forward folds. So as you lower down, you can reach your arms out into the shape of a T. Lift your hips up and shift them a few inches over towards the right before dropping both knees over to your left. So the thighs can stack one on top of the other. If there's a bit of a gap, you can put your block either under the knees or in between the thighs. And if you'd like to intensify this pose, you can wrap your right thigh over the left one and then let the knees drop. Either keeping the gaze straight up or looking over towards your right shoulder. And now in this pose, just let your breath be natural. Another great way to relieve stress and anxiety is by doing yoga poses that are really close to the floor. It has a grounding and nurturing quality to it. So that's what we'll be doing for the rest of this class. Carefully lift the knees back up to center, uncrossing the legs. And we'll move over to the other side. Take your time. So just realigning yourself. This time your hips should go a little bit more towards the left so that it's easier for your knees to drop to the right. And as much as possible, we're pressing that left shoulder down so the chest faces up. And you can keep one thigh over the other, or you can wrap your left leg over your right one. Gaze can be up, or you can turn the head towards your left shoulder. So if you notice any kind of worry creeping back in as you try to relax, I like to think of clouds drifting through the sky. So if your thoughts are clouds, you're just watching them pass by without getting hooked on them, without getting drawn into the story, without obsessing over what is stressing you out and what is giving you cause to worry. Just notice that that's what you're doing, and then come back to your breath, or come back to the sensations in your body. Knowing that there is nothing for you to do right now other than to rest and to take care of yourself. Everything else really can wait. And let's lift and float the knees back up to center. And keeping the knees bent, let's cross the right ankle over the top of the left knee and left thigh. Flex that right foot. This helps to protect your right knee. And you might choose to stay here, or you can put a block underneath your left foot, or you can reach through with your hands, interlace your fingers either behind the thigh or at the front of the shin as you pull that left knee in. So when I'm pulling my left thigh in towards my chest, I don't want my right knee to buckle in as well. I'm almost trying to push that right knee up towards the ceiling. So really getting deep into the outer hip and into the glutes. So we're only using a little bit of arm strength for this. And try to drop your shoulders on the mat. Let your head be heavy. Soften your facial muscles and truly rest in this pose. Give that thigh one last big squeeze. And carefully set your left foot back to the floor, uncross the legs. And it might feel good to just straighten that right leg for a second or two before we go and repeat this pose over on the other side. So this time your left ankle will be crossing over the top of your right knee. Flex that foot and push the knee away from you, choosing the variation and the depth that you'd like in this pose, reaching through with the arms and drawing that right knee in. So sometimes we lean on one side more than the other when we do this reclined swan pose or reclined pigeon pose. So try to evenly distribute your weight through both hips and both shoulders. And find some stillness here as well. Every time you exhale, releasing more and more tension from that left hip and left glute. Releasing more tension from the face, from the shoulders, and more importantly, from our minds. One little squeeze and carefully release. So just like before, it might feel good to just extend your left leg straight out to the floor, noticing the difference in that left hip now. We'll come into what is probably my favorite Yin Yoga pose, into banana pose. So easiest way to do this one is with the feet flat on the mat and the knees bent. You can lift your hips up and just shift them a little bit over towards the right side of your mat. And then as you straighten your legs, walk your feet and your ankles over to the left side of your mat. So we're trying to find a banana shape in the side of our body, kind of like a crescent moon shape. So now we have it in the lower body and we need it in the upper body. So try to bring your shoulders and your head also over to the left. Your right hip is going to want to lift up and off the floor. Try to push it down so both hip bones are facing straight up to the sky. Really, your entire front body is facing up. If you'd like to intensify this, you can reach your arms up overhead and hold onto the elbows, getting a nice stretch into the shoulder and the arm, as well as the side of the body. And you can also cross your right ankle over the top of the left one. So the deeper the angle here, of course, the deeper the stretch will be. But it should be comfortable enough for you to just hold still exactly as you are. Opening up the entire side body here. closing your eyes and letting go of any and all tension. So you can keep your arms as they are now, but just uncross the legs and make your way over to the other side. So I find it easier to bend the knees once more. And then the hips can go all the way to the left as you bring the upper body over to the right. And then straighten the legs once more, bringing your heels over towards the right corner of your mat. Try to push your left hip down to the floor, and if you'd like to intensify, cross your left ankle over the top of your right one. Finding just enough sensation where you can feel a nice stretch and a nice opening, but not so much so that it becomes uncomfortable or hard for you to hold. This should be one of the Yin Yoga poses where it's the easiest for us to relax completely. And let's release banana pose on the left side. We have one more asana before coming into Shavasana. Please grab a hold of one block. We're going to place that block underneath the hips. So if you're near a wall, you can do legs up the wall, or you can just extend your legs straight up. This is one of my all-time favorite poses also, especially in periods of high stress, or if you've been standing on your feet most of the day. So supporting the hips with the use of a block, just giving your legs the opportunity to be weightless. Relax your arms by your sides. Close your eyes. Bend the knees. Let's set our feet flat to the floor. Lift the hips and shift your block off to the side. Shavasana, our final resting pose. Take up lots of space. Turn your palms to face up to the sky. And fully surrender to this practice. To your breath. Accepting that whatever is going on for you right now will pass, like everything else. So just for now, can you find serenity and peace and comfort? for these last few minutes in Shavasana. Begin to deepen your breath as we awaken from this deep rest. Wiggling fingers and toes. Move a little so that you can wake up your physical body. Maybe taking a big stretch. And we'll meet in a comfortable seated pose. Sitting tall on your mat, focusing inward. And take a moment to really tune in. Notice what feels different in your physical body, but also noting how you feel right now, emotionally and mentally. Is there a little bit less attachment towards those things that were preoccupying your headspace and causing you stress and worry? Do you feel more empowered, centered, or grounded? And if so, really focus on that feeling. Like everything else, these feelings are fleeting and they will pass. So the next time stress and worry or anxiety creeps up on you, can you remember this feeling that you have right now? This feeling of peace and of acceptance and of inner calm. And bring your hands together at the front of the heart, closing with the chant of Om. Inhale to chant. Breathe in. Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis, for doing this stress relief yin yoga practice with me. I would love to know how this went for you. Please do leave me a comment down below and share your experience. If you're new to my channel, please do hit the subscribe button. You can also click on the little bell icon to be notified of the new classes that I put out. I do put out a new full-length yoga class every single Thursday. Thank you all so very much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll practice again with you soon. What are you doing? What are you doing, silly girl? What are you doing? You're so silly. You're so silly. Yes, you are. What are you doing? Get it. Get his tail. That's your own leg.